Lindy was born in Denver, and by college years had migrated to the East Coast to go to Smith, and was actually a dancer before she identified herself as a writer and poet. I believe that's correct. And I think you see that in her writing. In 1964, she co-founded what would become a very influential countercultural literary magazine, EO, and was associated with a school of poetry called the New American Poetry, which published poetry in the context of science, film, history, and visual arts. And another one of the co-founders was Richard Grossinger, whom she married. And in those years, in that period of time, she taught also writing in Michigan, in Vermont, Maine, all sorts of places. And in 1974, I think that's correct, she can correct me if I'm wrong, they came to Berkeley and to move here, live here, and EO morphed or transformed into North Atlantic Books, which we all know, and the rest is history. So Lindy worked there as a publisher and editorial director for many 30-some years, and only this last year retired from that to become a full-time writer. I believe the last time that she presented here was with her publisher's hat on. I wasn't here at that event, but now we're very happy to have her back here with a poet hat or no hat on. And she's now come back in a different incarnation. And it's wonderful to have her here in that capacity. In addition to all else that she has done, including raising a family and she is a distinguished poet, and she is also the author of 5 books of poetry and nonfiction. And she's the editor of a forthcoming volume with North Atlantic Books called Wondrous Child, The Joys and Challenges of Grandparenting. But tonight we're celebrating her wonderful volume of poetry, this one, Wild Horses, Wild Dreams, new and selected poems from 1971 to 2010. And it's a very comprehensive volume that, for me, is rather like a memoir in poetry, and that's a wonderful read. It's characterized, I think, by movement, and keeping in mind that she was, first of all, a dancer. And I find lots of movement. It's a movement of a woman through her life, starting from a young woman, a young wife, a young mother, a young artist, into a woman who has written much, accomplished a great deal, experienced much, and now embraces being a grandmother. So it's a long journey. It's also a journey through time. It's a journey with love and grief in it. It travels from the east to the west coast and back, so there's a real geography and changing geography in it. And it's a book that also explores the reflections on the inner and the intellectual life, the spiritual life, the relationship of an individual to a family, and many other things, including issues of materialism and capitalism. So she may become a hot ticket in some of the upcoming GOP debates, you never know. Anyway, it's a great pleasure to be able to introduce Lindy, and it's time for the poet and the poetry to speak. So let's give her a warm welcome.